let's try to understand what is stem cell therapy and where we can use stem cell therapy. And before to that, let's try to understand what are stem cells. Okay, so have you gone through this concept, stem cell therapy? Okay, so now you try to answer to the question that what are stem cells? Stem cells. What are stem cells? Can anyone say? Which can have? Okay, regenerative capacity. So in simple manner to say, generally every cell will have a specialized function. That means every cell will perform a specific function. Like let's say cells can be there specially designed for liver, cells can be there for like heart cells, brain cells, like every cell will have specific function. But if we generally talk about stem cells are nothing but they are unspecialized and undifferentiated cells. They are unspecialized and undifferentiated cells, which will have a kind of ability or which will have a kind of potential of what? Potential to become specialized. Okay, so they can become specialized. So those cells which are undifferentiated and are unspecialized and which have the ability to become specialized cells. So such kind of cells are nothing but stem cells. Okay, so we are saying that they can become specialized. That means they will have the ability to renew themselves into new forms. Are you getting that? So that means they have the ability. What kind of ability? The ability of self-renewable. Self-renewable. Are you getting that? That means a cell can be developed into specific cell. So that is one thing. So here we are talking about something called the ability or the potential. So based on the ability of the cell to develop into different or other types of cells, so we have different types of stem cells. Okay, so what are those types? So when we look from the perspective of the ability, this ability, so based on this, we will have different types of stem cells. Okay, so first type would be totipotent stem cells. Totipotent stem cells. So look at the word totipotent. Potent means simply to say ability. Okay, so totipotent. Toti means you remember like total. That means in simple way to say, certain stem cells will have the ability to develop into almost all the types of cells that are present in the body. Okay, that means those cells which can develop into almost all other types, all the types of cells that are present in the body. So total ability, so that is totipotency. Then second type would be known as pluripotent stem cells. Okay, so pluripotent. So what do you mean by pluripotent? So generally here we are saying that they have the ability to develop into all the types of cells. Whereas here pluripotent means they will have the ability to develop into most of the type of cells that are present in the body. That means, let's say for example, here in terms of percentage wise, if we say here, if we talk like 95 to 100% ability to develop into other cells, here what may happen, ability would be less. Let's say hypothetically I am saying, so let's say 75% to 80%. That means into most of the cell types. So you remember likewise. Okay, so then there will be other types of stem cells which will have the ability to develop into some cells or few. So they are nothing but multipotent stem cells. Totipotent stem cells, pluripotent stem cells, and multipotent stem cells. Here, multipotent means they will have the ability to develop into few cell types. Okay, let's say like reduce the range. let's roughly say around 50%. It's hypothetical. I'm just denoting it for your understanding purpose. Okay, so there is no such kind of criteria. So that is how stem cells are of different types. Okay, so if we talk from the point of examples, like we will have embryonic stem cells. Okay, so embryonic stem cells and somatic stem cells. These would be two important types of stem cells which we will have. So generally one stem cell would be embryonic stem cells. Okay, so other would be somatic stem cells. Okay, embryonic stem cells are nothing but those stem cells which we have collected from the embryo of the fetus. Okay, so we will have like egg, sperm. After when they fertilize, we will get the embryo, so zygote, and from zygote other stages will develop, so embryo will develop. So from the embryo we will collect some stem cells which have the ability to develop into the entire body like this. So they are nothing but embryonic stem cells, and the cells which we have collected from the body cells, let's say for example bone marrow. So from bone marrow also we can have stem cells. So such kind of stem cells are nothing but somatic stem cells. Okay, so embryonic stem cells, somatic stem cells. So these are the two important types of stem cells that we will have. Okay, so embryonic stem cells will generally have the ability to develop into most of the stem cells or all the types of stem cells. So generally we can say embryonic stem cells will come into either totipotent or pluripotent into this. Are you getting? So somatic stem cells will have the ability to develop into particular organ or particular tissues they can develop. Like let's say for example liver tissue. So there can be like a specific stem cell to develop liver cell. So somatic stem cell would be related to a particular organ. So that from that point of view we can say that comes under multipotent stem cell. Okay, so these are basically nothing but some information. This is nothing but some of the information related to stem cells. Okay, so any doubts? It is why it is called undifferentiated. It is not called undifferentiated. Generally, that would be undifferentiated and unspecialized. That means it is generic in the nature that it will have the ability to become one specialized cell. So generally it would be unspecialized, and but it will have the ability to become specialized. Generally every cell will have specific function, but it won't have specific function. So that's why we are calling it as unspecialized and undifferentiated cell. Okay, are you getting that? So that is one thing. So this is basically about the stem cells. Okay, so then if you look at the applications, we are talking about stem cell therapy. So now we have said that these stem cells will have the ability to regenerate other cells or other organs likewise. So where we can go and where we can use this stem cell therapy. Okay, so that is one another important aspect. So when we generally talk about the applications of stem cell therapy, so first we can use this stem cell therapy to treat or to replace certain defective organs. Okay, so first application would be there with reference to organ replacement. Organ replacement, that means assume there is an issue with reference to liver. So now liver replacement would be there, and for that we need to have organ graft for that. Let's say for example liver should be there. Assume that liver is not present, that a graft is not present. Then what we can do? We can regenerate the liver and we can transplant it likewise. So in that perspective, like for stem cells would be used for development of that organ, and then that organ would be transplanted. Okay, so that is one. So for organ replacement, like stem cells we use in the development of the organ, and then we can use them. So that is one application. Okay, so then stem cell therapy can also be used to treat certain cancers. That means there are so many cancers. To treat certain cancers, we can also use stem cell therapy. Okay, let's say for example, let's say about leukemia. Have you heard about leukemia? So what is leukemia? So in simple manner to say, it's nothing but it's a type of blood cancer. In very simple manner to say, it's a type of blood cancer. Okay. So what will happen usually when we will have some kind of defective WBC, then we will get prone to leukemia. Okay. So here, with the help of the stem cell therapy, what we can do, we can replenish the defective bone marrow so that the bone marrow can produce healthy healthy leukocytes. Okay, so that is one thing. So here stem cells will play vital role. So we'll be just injecting the healthy stem cells so that those stem cells will replace or replenish the defective bone marrow, and thus it becomes a cure therapy to leukemia. Is that clear? So that is one thing. Okay, so then other things like, for example, we have other type of cancers like neuroblastoma. Neuroblastoma, it's a kind of cancer to brain. So in simple manner to say, a brain cancer. Okay, so brain cancer. So to treat neuroblastoma kind of brain cancers also, we can use this stem cells, so that we will be injecting the healthy brain stem cells related to brain, so that healthy tissues, healthy cells in the brain would be developed, and thus the disease can be cured. Okay, so that is one another thing. So then there are some other diseases, blood related diseases, like let's say thalassemia. Have you heard about thalassemia? Thalassemia, it's a kind of severe disorder which is life threatening. Okay, so patients with thalassemia shall have to regularly go for blood transfusion. Okay, so that would be a kind of bleeding disorder, that would be a kind of blood related disorder. Okay, so here if we use the stem cell therapy, we can also cure thalassemia. So here what we will be doing, we will try to restore the body's ability to produce the healthy blood tissues. Okay, so here also we will use stem cells. We can use stem cells so that we can use these stem cells for production of the healthy blood tissues like this. Okay. Yes, we can make it in the sense they will have that ability. That's what we are saying, like it can become a cell. So group of cells will become tissues, group of tissues will become an organ. That's all. Very possible. Okay, when we can produce one cell, so when we make it into a group, then it becomes tissues. When we make that group of tissues, then it becomes an organ. So organ will be produced, like atoms, molecules, and matter in the similar fashion. Okay, so that is one thing. So we can also treat disorders like thalassemia with stem cells. So that is one thing. Okay, and then some other issues. Recently, it is also proven that stem cell therapy can also be used to treat certain other disorders like blindness. Okay, so very recently, like stem cell therapy has also been used to cure the blindness. Okay, so usually we will have different parts of the eye. We will have pupil, we will have iris, and we will have cornea. So these are the three important parts: pupil, iris, and cornea. Okay, so if you see in this order, we will have the arrangement. Okay, at the center of the eye, we will have pupil. Okay, covering that we will have iris. Covering that we will have cornea. So you remember in the order PIC. So from inside to outside. So cornea is the part of eye which helps in allowance of the light to pass through the eye. So outside covering would be known as the cornea. So if we have some defects in the cornea, then we will be getting the difficulty in vision. So that means blindness. So here, very recently, the stem cell therapy has also been used to cure the blindness. Okay, so there particularly cornea, defective cornea has been cured. Okay, so it was a proven example of very recent example. So it is being used to treat this thing. So cornea defects. So remember, this is one another important application. Okay, so then apart from that, very recently, Delhi High Court has also allowed Delhi High Court has also allowed to treat 2 children with autism spectrum disorder. Autism spectrum disorder. Autism, it's a kind of developmental disorder where children are the generally like people, they will have the issues with respect to interpersonal issues. That means they will have different kind of attitude with respect to mingling with the people, or such kind of issues. So autism is such kind of disorder. So autism spectrum disorder. So recently Delhi High Court has also allowed 2 children to go for stem cell therapy to treat autism spectrum disorder. Okay, so this is also another new development.